Welcome to a Legendarium special about Mats Israelsson, the petrified miner of Sweden's Falun Mine. In this episode, we will learn about a miner who died only to reappear 42 years later, completely preserved. Sweden's Falun Mine, located in Sweden's picturesque Dalarna County, provided a seemingly inexhaustible supply of copper since the 10th century. It only stopped operations in 1992, making it one of the longest-running mines in Europe. In its heyday, the mine produced two-thirds of Europe's copper and funded many of Sweden's wars during the 17th and 18th centuries. By the early 1700s, Falun Mine grew vast, full of hidden passages, long-lost shafts, and ancient chambers. Mines tend to grow and grow into large and labyrinthine subterranean things that can be eerie places to be. That is exactly what a group of Swedish miners realized on the chilly morning of December 2nd, 1719. It seemingly began just like any other workday. The miners descended into the earth's depths, put their helmets and gear on, grabbed their tools, and went in search of a copper vein. The world of a miner is one of perpetual darkness. Deep within the bowels of the earth, sunlight remains only a warm memory, and sudden echoes or shadows can become frightening. The miners started work on a timbered mine tunnel called a chair, nearly 500 feet below the Earth's surface. It lay next to a mine shaft called Mardskin's Fallet, a centuries-old shaft completely flooded with water. A routine error caused that water to flow out among the startled miners. By the time the waters stilled, one miner found something at his feet. It turned out to be a corpse. Frightened miners saw both the dead man's legs completely cut off, yet the rest of his body preserved. The dead man's face, hair, hands, and his clothes showed not even the slightest trace of decay. They even found a brass tobacco box in the man's pocket with a preserved piece of tobacco inside it. The miners told the authorities, who became just as baffled, for no one reported a missing person. Fancy took the place of fact, as people began speculating that someone committed murder and then hid the evidence in the flooded chamber. The mine convened a Grovting, a special mining court. Because of their importance at the time, Swedish mines could hold their own courts and empower them to carry out investigations. A scholar of the Royal Mining College, Anders Swab, became the leader of this inquest. Swab found the corpse lifelike, almost fresh. However, when taken above ground, the dead man soon dried and became harder than stone, though with his face still preserved. Swab and his fellow scholars found that the water in the flooded shaft contained much vitriol, a powerful sulfuric acid that preserved the body. Upon contact with fresh air, the body petrified. On December 10, 1719, a miner named Mons Hansson claimed he recognized the dead man as Mats Israelsson, known as Fat Mats, for his being a big and robust man. Hansson testified that Mats Israelsson was born in the village of Boda, 12 miles south of Falun Mine. Hansson further testified that in autumn 1676, Mats Israelsson descended alone into Mardskin's Fallet shaft, standing upon a barrel suspended by ropes, and never returned. When the court asked Hansson how he remembered this so clearly, Hansson replied that his father died only months later during February 1677. Soon after, two mining bailiffs named Erik Michelson and Erich Persson claimed to recognize Fetmats as well. Finally, a woman named Margareta Olsdotter, an aged widow who married several times during her long life, testified that she became engaged to Mats Israelsson almost 2 generations ago. Things looked good for them, but her man mysteriously disappeared without a trace, and a few years later she married someone else. Miss Olsdotter further noted that Hansen made an error that Fat Mats disappeared in the spring of 1677, going down to light the fires which lit the mining shaft. Since Israelsson stood on the edge of a wet and slippery barrel, being lowered down, he likely fell, and the transport barrel sheared off his legs as he tumbled. However, one matter remained a mystery. Swedish miners carried a silver coin called a riksdollar as an amulet around their neck or in a pocket in the belief it would protect them against accidents. Strangely, Fat Mats carried no such coin, and the miners whispered that is why his barrel descent had such a bad end. His corpse remained on display for 30 years as an object of scientific interest. Carl Linnaeus, a father of modern biology, found the body covered in sulfate acids from the mine water, and he said that it would decompose in time as the salts evaporated. Sure enough, it began to blacken and smell, and the authorities finally buried Fat Mats in the local churchyard. The city, not wishing to lose its tourist attraction, commissioned a replica. Over the years, this replica has moved from the church to the city hall and finally to the Falun Mine Visitor Center. To this day, the descendant of Fat Mats Israelsson still live in the area and preserve the memory of their unfortunate ancestor by keeping a pair of silver coins to bring good luck. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.